Okay, here we go, folks. We're going to get started here. Welcome to the first crypto boot camp here with Invest Like Mike. We're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff today. We're going to have some more people joining here, and this is going to be posted after the recording for anyone that missed out on it. We're going to post it. You can watch it after the fact, catch up on stuff that you missed that maybe goes over your head sometimes on the first listen. And I'm going to go through a lot of stuff today, and we're going to kind of keep building on this week by week with everyone. And some of you might be beginners, some of you might be intermediate, some of you might be very experienced, but even experienced people like sharing information with each other and with other people. And you can't study everything, you can't track every crypto, you can't track every strategy. And so I'm here to help along with that journey. What happened in 2020 was that most people didn't really know what Bitcoin was, or they thought it was stupid. And during that cycle, I did a weekly training session that was not focused on cryptos. I did a training course that was not focused on cryptos, but I shared cryptos with people. I knew that I couldn't focus on it. I knew a lot of people heard a lot of things about it, and I didn't really want to promote anyone to over invest in it. And it wasn't even embraced by society or portfolio managers or anything like that yet. And I had students coaching with me that were able to buy Bitcoin at 10,000 or 12,000 in 2020. Ethereum, $600, $1,000. And, the rally ended up going up astronomically. And so now we're sitting here 4 years later, 4 year cycles happen in Bitcoin. You might not be aware of that, but we're at the same point we were in 2020 leading up to the election when I started coaching people and doing a weekly training session at that point. And this year, this cycle, I decided to do a crypto boot camp. And now everyone knows what cryptos are for the most part. You've heard of them. You might still think they're stupid, but you're hearing, BlackRock and Ray Dalio and Elon Musk and all these people are in on it now. It's very different than 2020. And I want to show you that difference. I want to show you what I know and guide you through it because it's an overwhelming subject. I always tell people if you want to buy a rental property or a student rental in Niagara, I have years of experience. I've seen it all. I can skip you a lot of hassle and just tell you how rentals work in my market. With cryptos, that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm trying to condense years and years and years of things that I've learned, and I'm trying to share it with you in a more efficient time because I really think the next year, year and a half is going to be like 2020, 2021. And that's what most experts feel as well. So, most people that I talk to that are into cryptos have zero friends to talk to about cryptos. They talk to me or they talk to their one friend that is very educated on it. And I want to help share that with you. I want to help educate you, and I want to try to simplify it and show you how I'm viewing things. So what I'm going to do is, by the way, hopefully you like my apartment here. There's a Bitcoin apartment. That's the design for when the cycle's over and I buy that one. Um, Zoom allows really nice green screens here, so I thought that was pretty cool. If anyone joins in along the way here, I'll have to just watch and see and add them in there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here, folks. Just keep yourself all muted, and if you have questions at the end, I don't mind sticking around for a little bit at the end, and we can do like a question period. And maybe along the way, if I ask if anyone has a question, feel free to unmute and you can ask a question as well. I'm going to throw a lot at you in today's session, guys. So if it seems a little quick, it's an intro session, and some of the stuff I will touch upon next week or in future sessions. And I just want to expose you to what we're looking at here. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to see the screen there, no problem. If there is any problem seeing the screen for some reason, please type it into the comments there. So what we're going to do here, let me just open the chat here. There we go. Okay. If anything comes up technical wise or anything, or if you have a question, guys, just throw it in the chat. Go to the bottom. You should see a comment section and the chat section, and you can just feel free to ask questions, say hello, whatever you want to do there. So again, the Crypto Bootcamp is my way of trying to kind of give back, so to speak. Obviously, it's a business for me too. I've been doing it for years, but I have students that made a lot of money in the last cycle by, educating themselves by knowing what I'm doing and what I'm up to. Just a reminder for everyone, the website here, investlikemike.com. November 1st onwards at investlikemike.com, you're able to go to the services tab here and you'll see the weekly training session, Crypto Bootcamp there. It's only 150 bucks a month, guys. There's 4 hours of these weekly training sessions. I'm going to do extra videos. I'm going to end up adding in a Monday morning quarterback video, and I'm going to just kind of analyze charts and talk about how my picks are doing. And I'm going to just basically tell you exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and the strategy behind it. You can see the Crypto Bootcamp topics there. Again, don't sign up now. We'll wait until the first 2 sessions are over. And then I'll remind everyone you can see the product first and you can join for November 1st onwards and stick with me for the whole time, throughout the whole cycle, the whole journey. We'll do it together. What I am going to do is I'm actually going to take a small percentage of the revenue I make here, put it into a neutral crypto wallet that I'll manage, and I'm actually going to invest that money on behalf of the group. Okay, so come hopefully a year from now, I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing with that money, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, all my strategies, show you the portfolio, show you how it's doing, and then what I'm going to do is next year at some point when I decide to kind of cash out of cryptos, as I did in 2021, 2022, I'm going to actually just give that money away. I'm going to give some to charity and I'm going to split the rest up with everyone who stuck with me in the group here. So I'm hoping that we get some coins that kind of go bananas for us and that we get a huge rally and this little portfolio hopefully becomes a pretty meaningful size portfolio. So I want to be able to do that. It's kind of a fun thing to follow along with and want to let you guys know I'm doing that. I'm thinking of Ronald McDonald House and Terry Fox for the charities there. So one thing just to get out of the way here, remember, I'm just a guy on the internet. I'm just telling you what I do. You have to do your own research. You can, approach an accountant. They'll probably tell you you're crazy to buy cryptos. But don't do what I'm doing. I'm just showing you what I'm doing as part of, you can go on YouTube and listen to everyone and what they're doing, whether it's stocks or cryptos, but I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Okay. So let's start this off. Let's just get this right out of the way, the elephant in the room here. If you guys aren't already familiar with this stuff, this is something you might have heard of, and the amount that it went up is pretty crazy. And you can see here that we have some pretty tremendous returns here, folks. We have a 60,000 return here with cryptos in the 2012 cycle here. And you can see that in the 2012 cycle, it went up a lot. And remember, it was a very new thing with not many people in it. So any new customer stepping in is a massive percentage increase, and it shot the cryptos up, kind of like if you bought Microsoft at 5 cents 50 years ago or something like that. Your return is more if you got in earlier before it became a huge company. Same thing with cryptos, and they call this the law of larger numbers. As the value of crypto goes up, you expect the returns to go down because a lot of people have already gotten in. However, I should point out 2016, 9,500% return. Okay. Over 9,500%. I went on the charts and I got these numbers fresh for everyone just earlier. And so again, 9,500% is a lot less than 60,000%, but my goodness, is that a big number. 2020, when I was doing my weekly training sessions and my training course and showing people what I'm doing with cryptos, the 2020 cycle, we had a 1,500% return in Bitcoin. Okay. Now there's some coins that went up a lot more than this. This is actually Bitcoin. This is the boring one, the one that they call the safer crypto. There's some cryptos that have gone up a lot more than this. I know some cryptos just in the past year that went up 120,000%. So this is Bitcoin I'm showing you here. And I want you to get an idea here that, you can see the numbers are getting smaller. So what does that mean? What are we going to do in this 2024 cycle? Is it even worth it? How much could it possibly go up? And, this is something that I want to make sure everyone's aware of, and just be aware that we do have these massive, massive runs that have happened. If you've been told it's just a risky thing, and once it goes up, it crashes, it does drop a lot in between these cycles I'm going to explain to you. You can see the 4 years in between these cycles here, folks. These are all 4 years apart. It does drop a lot between the cycles, but it goes way higher with each cycle. Okay, so want to make sure that I just point that out and get that out of the way right away. Let's just pull up the Bitcoin chart here. It's going to refresh this here. So I use tradingview.com, folks. If you want, you could use it the way I'm using it. You can use it for free. And, if it overwhelms you at first, don't worry about it. I'm actually going to get rid of all my drawings. I don't want to confuse anyone with the technical analysis. And I'm going to change these candles to a line. Okay. Not everyone is used to looking at candles. We can discuss that in the future video, and I'll happily explain to you the basics of candles and why I use those as well. So right here, you'll see at the top of your screen in tradingview.com, I typed in BTC USD to get Bitcoin. And this is a daily chart. I'm going to switch this to a weekly chart. Okay, so it's going to plot a dot on the chart every week rather than every day. And it allows us to see a larger amount of data in one shot here. And what I want to show you is this. So, this is that 2012 rally that I showed you earlier and how much it made. That's the rally right there. Okay. Then it dropped. That's the big scary drop that everyone scares you about. Look how little it dropped compared to how much it went up. And this is why I'm drawing it for you, because you've probably never seen this before, right? So now this is the 2016 cycle that I showed you, where it went up, I think, over 9,000%. This is how much it dropped after the 2016 cycle. Look how much smaller the drop is than the rise, okay? This is the 2020 rally that we were all a part of there, or some of us anyways, 4 years ago. And this is how much it dropped, okay? Look how little it dropped compared to how much it went up. Now you're probably noticing a pattern. You can see that the size of each arrow is getting a little smaller each time. The 2012 arrow here is the longest, largest one. But you can see the point is that, it doesn't drop all the way back down. It's just a scary drop, okay? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to measure these right in front of you here. Okay, so this one went up. Let's see here. This one's showing about 40,000%. I think the candles showed a little bit more there. And then the drop, show you the drop here. And then it went down about 77% right there. Okay, so it does have these drops here. Here's another 84%. Here's another 75%. It does tend to drop about 70 or 80%, so to speak, when that happens. Okay, so but at the end of the day, if we just get rid of these drawings here, you'll see that the trajectory is simply higher. Okay, so if we're long-term investors, if anyone's been a long-term investor in this, it's painful as heck to watch them drop like that. But at the end of the day, the trend is higher. If I pulled up a chart for Visa or Microsoft or whatever, they tend to look like this too. They kind of go up over time. Now, this one is more volatile, but I just want to show you that it is going up over time. Okay, so if I take that away, I just want to do one more thing. Oftentimes, stocks and cryptos and charts go up like a staircase, and you can see the staircase pattern. And we are now at the point of kind of making that next staircase to the upside. So for anyone that thought the Bitcoin chart looked like this, where it's just crashing all the time, it's not. It looks like this. It's basically going up. It's just a wild ride. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that I showed that to you guys. If you're listening to all of the headlines and everything, they can kind of be inaccurate in my opinion. I don't think they have as good of a view on this as someone who's really, really studied it. And I want to make sure that you guys have that full view. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't drop. I showed you the drops, but just look at the pattern, look at the trajectory, look at the direction it's going, and you could see that it's zigzagging higher. Okay. So let's get into some stuff here. And I'm going to kind of roll through some of this stuff a little quicker because the next 2 weeks are kind of intros, and I'm going to go way deeper into this stuff in the future sessions, obviously. So what happened last cycle? What happened in 2020? Why did we go up 1,500%? Last cycle, you'll remember we had a lot of money printed. Okay. So we had 2 trillion printed in March of 2020. We had another 2 trillion printed about a year later. Record low interest rates, all kinds of mortgages, refinancing, lines of credit, all of this money thrown into the economy, into the hands of people. And then what do? We spend it. And people all became stock traders and Bitcoin investors and all this stuff. And you'll see that inflation went up. And I was born in 1982. We had the highest inflation since I was born. And I've never seen that in my life. And, if you're older than I am, maybe you remember the inflation of the 70s, right? Um, this is something that we're going to study heavily because it relates to cryptos. You'll see that US inflation reached the lowest point since February 2021. This is an article from just last week. Inflation is now down, and they've actually started cutting rates in America, right? They raised rates like crazy in 2022 and 2023, popping the balloon, killing the market. And now they've thrown in the towel on rate hikes, and now they're actually cutting rates. Very, very important. And I mentioned the 1970s. There's something called stagflation. I'm not going to get into it too much today, but stagflation was a period in the 1970s where we, had high inflation and uneven economic growth, just like now. And stagflation basically means you're trying to tolerate high interest rates while fighting inflation at the same time. And I'm going to dive way deeper into that in future sessions. We're going to go over this here. This is the inflation as tracked by the Federal Reserve. You could see the inflation here. It went, it went way, way higher here in 2020. You'll see here we reached that level right there, right in and around that 8% mark in America. Now remember, countries like Argentina and Turkey had over 100% inflation. So we're complaining about 8%. That's nothing. Go talk to someone that lives in another country and you'll realize how good we have it. I met people from Argentina when I was in Mexico in the winter and I talked to them. Believe me, we're not that bad. Now let's look at the 1970s, right? Inflation in 1969, 1970 hit about 6%, and that caused them to do rate hikes. Inflation came down. See how that inflation came down when they hiked rates? But then they lowered rates, and they lowered them a lot because we can't handle high rates. We've been on a diet of low interest rates for decades, and we can't handle high rates in a small amount of time. So then inflation spiked up again right here, and it went to about 11% because they had to lower rates a lot to not crash the economy. Okay. Then inflation got even more wild. What they do? They hiked rates again around 1973, 74. Inflation came down, right? Now we can't handle the high interest rates again. So they got to lower them and lower them a lot. Inflation went up again. It went to probably about 13, 14, 13%, something like that. And this is called stagflation. You're trying to fight inflation, right? You're trying to fight inflation by raising rates, but then you have to lower the rates a lot because we can't handle the rates. And that's just something that I've learned over time and something that I know very well. Again, I'm just going to glide over these. This is the interest rates. Okay, so you'll notice here they raised interest rates right here around 1969. They really jacked them up to fight inflation. They jacked them up again around 1973. They jacked them up again around 1976, 77 there. And then they just let the market crash. Okay. Ray Dalio and a lot of people smarter than me feel we're in a similar situation. And if you notice how these interest rates keep climbing higher here in the 70s, we're kind of setting up for that already right now, okay, where we could have high interest rates again in the future. So I can't promise you that's coming, but I want to make you aware of that. You may never have even heard of stagflation. I'm going to show you, these are all official Federal Reserve numbers. Okay, this is right from the St. Louis Fed website. And this is showing the amount of, the US national debt. That's the most bullish chart I've ever seen. Okay, I said that once and made some people laugh here. This always goes higher. And they just always create more debt and more money printing, and they want lower rates. And that is why the price of stocks and houses and your clothes and your food and everything has always gone up. They want inflation and they want debt. Okay. And this is something called M2 money supply. Again, I'm throwing these all at you. We're going to go into detail on these in future sessions, one by one. I'm going to do focus sessions. M2 money supply is all the investable capital in the world. Okay. The orange line you see here is the Bitcoin price, and the bars you see in yellow, those are the money supply. Okay. Now I want you to notice something here. Okay. Every time Bitcoin goes down in value, so does the money supply. Down in value, money supply goes down, right? And you could see even over here recently, right? Bitcoin and the money supply have gone down together. So what happens after that? Well, then the money supply goes up, Bitcoin goes up, money supply goes up, Bitcoin goes up. Money supply right now is at a point where it's waiting to go up, and it's starting to go up a little, but it hasn't really taken off yet. As they lower rates and as they do quantitative easing and money printing and whatever they're going to do in the coming years, we're going to have a new president in America coming in. They usually spend more. And you could just see that it's setting up for more money to be injected into the economy, which will devalue our dollar, cause inflation, and that will bring the price of Bitcoin, I believe, higher with the money supply again. Okay. And I'm very good at pattern recognition. You'll notice I'm showing you a lot of patterns and things that mimic and kind of rhyme. History doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. Okay. So, again, we're going to do focus sessions on that stuff in the future, and I'm going to make sure to give you a lot more detail on that stuff. Now let's get into kind of the fun stuff here. So I want to give you an update on what's going on this cycle, okay? What's happened this cycle, and why is this different than previous cycles? And I think that's very important to make that distinction, and that's going to help me with the thesis that I have as to where we might be heading, okay? So right now, let me go here. There we go. So I have a list here of catalysts. Okay, so this is my crypto catalysts list for this current cycle. Okay, so number one, we do have the actual crypto cycle itself in motion. Again, there's a 4-year cycle, and we are currently in the 2 bullish years of that 4-year cycles. Okay, there's 2 years that kind of suck, and there's 2 years where it goes bananas. And we're in the 2 years that go bananas right now. So we have that in place. Okay. Number two, okay, BlackRock, the largest hedge fund manager on earth, they have an ETF now. Okay. And there are 11 ETFs actually now. Some of them are Fidelity Money Management, really big names. Cathie Wood has one. She was the #1 portfolio manager on Wall Street in 2020. And this is a big deal. In the previous cycle of 2020, when it went up all that money, all that percentage, there was no BlackRock. Billionaires, if they bought any, bought very little because they don't trust these weird crypto websites and these stocks that were in the stock market that weren't SEC approved. They're very careful with their money, and they might have put a little in, but now they can put a lot in, and they're investing basically, through the same bank they buy Microsoft with. They can buy a BlackRock ETF. And ETF means they're getting your money from you and they're buying Bitcoin on your behalf and managing it for you securely and safely. You can buy a gold ETF, there's a uranium ETF, there's ETFs for everything. Now we have ETFs for Bitcoin. Okay. The halving event in place every 4 years. This year it was around May. Um, there's a certain number of Bitcoins that come out per day. Okay. So they're not all here yet. Think about someone digging for gold and you can only pull out a certain amount of gold from the ground every day. Well, you're only allowed to bring to market a certain amount of Bitcoins per day. And that's gone in half every 4 years since 2008. 2012, 16, 20, and 24, they went in half each time. The recent one, I believe, went from 900 per day to 450 per day. So there's less and less and less new Bitcoins available. And now BlackRock, the biggest buyer of Bitcoin on earth, is buying. And we have less, Bitcoin coming to market. That's really bullish. Interest rate cut cycle, right? The Federal Reserve just cut interest rates last month. And that's the first time they've cut rates in a long, long, long time since they started raising them in 2022. Once they start raising rates like in 2022, I sold all my cryptos, all my stocks, I sold some real estate, and I waited for everything to crash. And I knew what was coming. Now they're in a rate cut cycle. I just showed you what happened in the 70s when they cut like crazy. Okay. The economy is about to have a heart attack and you must do a bypass. You must give them a stent and blood thinners. That's what rate cuts are for the economy. That's what money printing is for the economy. In Canada, we're giving longer amortizations, easier down payments. They're doing all of these stents and angioplasties and heart bypasses for the economy because we can't handle the rate hikes. Okay. And that's the way I'm looking at it. Debt levels rising fast. The reason why we got high inflation because they printed too much darn money. They gave away too much darn money and they put too much debt on their balance sheet. So what did they do when they hiked rates to make sure that spending went down? They spent more money. The US national debt has been climbing absolutely non-stop. Okay, like this is 2022. I'm going to go right here on your screen here. 2022 is right there. Okay. Look at the debt. They raised interest rates to punish us because we spent too much money, and then they rose the national debt from 31 trillion or 30 trillion to now 35 trillion, going on 36 trillion. The national debt goes up 1 trillion every 3 or 4 months, according to Elon Musk. That means this is going to be probably 39 trillion, maybe even 40 trillion by the end of next year. That is stupid. And they're forcing us to spend less money by raising rates and loaning us less and punishing us. And they are raising the debt astronomically. The debt went up 10 or 15% during the rate hike cycle. A lot of people don't realize that. Um, Post US election rally, that is a thing. Okay. And if you study the US election from 2020, and I'll show it to you today, the biggest profits came after the US election of 2020. If you think you've missed out, I'm here to argue that we haven't missed out yet. And there's a lot more coming, in my opinion. So, post US election rally, November is 2 weeks away, is the election. Okay. Potential Trump victory. I don't love Trump. Okay. I wish someone else was available. I don't like either candidate, but I do like cryptos, and so does Trump now. Trump is very pro crypto. Okay. There's crypto on the balance sheet, which he said he's going to keep. He wants to put a pro SEC person in charge of the SEC. Gary Gensler has been very combative with cryptos over the past 4 years. So that's another thing. If he wins, we didn't have a pro SEC person in charge in 2020. We might if he wins. Okay. Then again, whether you hate him or love him, we're talking about cryptos. He's good for cryptos. Okay. He's also going to lower rates quicker, I think. He's going to lower corporate tax rates, and that's going to create more investment capital and more bullishness for markets. Again, even if you don't agree with that, maybe you don't think he should lower taxes. I'm just telling you what he's going to do. And he did that last time around as well when he was in power. So again, that is bullish for cryptos and stocks and things like that. FOMO rally, not here yet. So what does that mean? Fear of missing out is FOMO. And a lot of the times people don't want to get in. They're told it's risky. They saw it just dropped this summer. They don't trust it. They see how much it's dropped in the past. And what they do is when their neighbors and their friends and everyone around them is already making a lot of money and the price is way, way, way up, now they have the fear of missing out and they join the rally. And that's what happened in 2021, not 2020, 2021, the year after the election. Okay. 2025 is the year after the election right now. Crypto adoption. Crypto is being adopted more. You are seeing places like Visa and MasterCard interacting with cryptos. You're seeing banks testing out cryptos around the world to see which ones they like for the future. There is a lot of adoption coming. Okay. And wild card factors, that could be anything. That could be Apple Pay or Google Pay letting you buy and hold cryptos. That could be all kinds of different things. Maybe Elon Musk lets people buy all the Tesla products with cryptos. Maybe Tesla itself makes a wallet that lets you buy and hold cryptos. There's all kinds of things that can happen here. And I would almost consider a Trump victory and a Trump SEC pro crypto SEC person as almost a wild factor. So we have a lot of moving parts going on here. Okay. And I want to make sure that we're aware of all that stuff because it's very, very important. Okay. Now, remember, last time around in 2020, this is a 2017 article. Larry Fink thought Bitcoin was literally a money laundering piece of garbage. He talked about it horribly, as did Ray Dalio, as did a lot of people. Um, Now he's a major believer in Bitcoin all of a sudden, right? Isn't it funny that when he lines up his own ETF to make money for him and his clients, now he can be part of the action and now he's a major believer. Funny how that works, right? This is the biggest hedge fund on earth. No one has more influence on the financial community, I would argue, than Larry Fink. And this is a big deal. This is a big deal. This is Ray Dalio. He used to think Bitcoin was trash. And in 2021, he started buying Bitcoin. He bought a little bit for his portfolio, and he actually says that it's something that maybe you should have a little bit of in your portfolio, kind of like gold and silver. Okay. You could see here BlackRock and Grayscale and Fidelity were amongst the 11 firms approved for the ETFs. And we had an astronomical rally leading up to that announcement. And even right after the announcement, Bitcoin went up massively because billionaires were pouring in hundreds of millions of dollars per day into Bitcoin, and they used to put in very little or zero. And that's a whole new thing. Um, it's a whole new thing, and the richest people on earth are now buying it. Trump shifts his stance towards cryptocurrency, right? He wants to get votes. He's pro crypto, and he wants to win over votes because crypto is becoming very popular. He actually launched a token, right? And he made a bunch of money here. He's actually literally now involved in the crypto industry. Again, whether you hate him or you love him, that's just something that's true. Okay. Um, let's go over here. Just want to show you this chart here again. This is something we can go into more detail on in the future. Um, at some point in each of these cycle, everyone ends up in profit because everyone who is buying is holding these cryptos. It reaches a new all-time high, and when you're at a new all-time high, everyone that bought at a lower price is now in profit. So this is showing you of all the Bitcoin addresses that exist in the world, whether you have a wallet on a crypto site or whether it's BlackRock or whatever, it's all tracked here. And Bitcoin in profit ends up reaching kind of that 100% level when it's about to go into the biggest part of the rally. Okay, so let's show you here. So in 2020, Bitcoin went where everyone was in profit, right? Right around the election. See right here? Right there towards the end of 2020, when the election happened, we hit a new all-time high after the election or just leading into the election, and everyone went into profit. Okay. That's where we are right now. Okay. This is the 2016-17 cycle. Everyone was in profit, right? Everyone was in profit, and that's when the biggest part of the rally happened. That 2012 cycle, everyone was in profit. That's when the biggest part of the cycle came. We're there right now. Okay. I want to make sure that you're recognizing the patterns. Again, pattern recognition is the most important thing in my tool set here. Okay. So when everyone's in profit and everyone who knows what the cycle is about knows they should keep holding, there's a term called diamond hands. And it sounds silly. There's a lot of cartoons around the internet. A lot of the young people have kind of designed these. It's a real thing. And paper hands is someone who says, I bought Bitcoin, it went up 50% or 20%, and I just sold it because I don't even believe in it and it's stupid. And I just want to get out before it crashes. Diamond hands is people that know that if they hold on longer term, they know that it goes higher in every cycle, even if it crashes along the way. Again, this is why I showed that to you, right? If you're trying to time it, you don't know when the top's going to be necessarily, then it comes down, you're scared. But if you hang on, boom, you're richer. Scary, 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 hang on, you're richer. Comes down, and now we're at the point where it should take off again. Okay. And that's when the big money is typically made. Okay. So I want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. And I know it sounds silly, but the reason why they make pictures like this is because there's a cult, there's a culture to this, and people know the cycle. Okay. Now, this one might be a little funny here. So there's something called the banana zone rally. Okay. And the banana zone rally is what comes after the election. This is the main part of the move. Okay. And you'll notice here that after the 2016 election, you see 2016 here, right? 2012, these are all election years. Okay, at the bottom of your screen, you see 2020, and now you see 2024. Look what happened after those election years. The rally, the main part of the rally happened after the election, right? And this is why it's called the banana zone, because it just starts curving upwards and it just doesn't stop until it reaches a mania in a FOMO, fear of missing out rally. Look where we are right now. Okay. Right now, Bitcoin is all the way down here still. Okay. It's still all the way down here. Okay. So if you look closely here, there's the all-time high being broken. There's the all-time high being broken. There's the all-time high being broken. We right now are basically at the point where we're ready to go above that all-time high again. Okay. And what happens every time we cross that red line? We have the banana zone rally, the main part of the rally. That's coming in 2 weeks. Okay. I want to make sure that sinks in. That's literally coming in about 2 weeks. Now, I'm not going to pretend I can tell you it's going to 300,000. We could have a war or something weird can happen, but I'm just showing you history. And right now, we are waiting for the next big rally. And you can see the takeoff point very clearly, pattern recognition from the election onwards, we go into a dramatic rally. Okay. And we are there right now. Okay. So again, don't go investing just because I said this stuff. I'm sharing what I know with you and sharing it with you. Obviously, do your own research. They are still risky, but I want to make sure that you understand that stuff. And this is something called the stock to flow model, guys. This is, again, it might go over your heads a little bit. I'm going to cover it in way more detail in a future video. There's a gentleman named Plan B on YouTube, and I would suggest you go follow Plan B. I'm going to give you some other people to follow if you'd like to. And he uses a stock to flow model. You can see it in all of his pictures, and he uses very sophisticated computer models, and it takes in all the data that's publicly available with cryptos, and it combines it into a stock to flow model that helps predict where the price is going. Okay. And the main thing to show you, and I'm going to go into more detail in this at a future session because we can't do everything today. Every time we go into an election, okay, you start to see those red candles, the blue turns red, okay, the blue turns red, okay. I should say the halving event and the election. The halving event happened in May of this year, the elections in November of this year. Those two events together bring us into the red dots, okay. And now, like clockwork, we are into the red dots because we had the halving and the election is coming. Look what happens every time we go from blue dots to red dots. The banana zone rally, the banana zone rally, the banana zone rally, and now we're expecting another big rally to the upside here. Okay. You could see the pattern recognition I'm using here. And if you stick with me and I teach you this stuff, I'm going to go through this in way more detail with you. There's still a lot more to this. I can't fit it all in today, but we are at the same point as right here and right here and right here. Look what happened after all of those red circles. Okay. The red dots that I've circled in red lead to the biggest part of the rally, and we are there right now lining up with the election. Okay. That's a big deal. Okay. Um, Hopefully already just seeing some of the stuff kind of pick some light bulbs up for you guys because I'm combining this all together in somewhat of an organized fashion for you guys here and showing you multiple different layers and all these things. This is the position we're in right now. If you weren't aware of those things, I'm going to go into much greater details on those in the future sessions. I'm going to probably dedicate 10 or 20 minutes to each of those in future sessions. And I'm going to always refer back to these things. I'm going to show you when the national debt goes higher. I'm going to show you as the interest rate chart changes. I'm going to show you the whole way here. I'm going to stick with you the whole way. And again, the first two sessions this week and next week are free. You can subscribe for November onwards. Stick with me, and I'll bring you the whole way through. So again, rather than listening to Fox News or CBC News or whatever, Fox News just did an interview last week with a crypto person who's very educated on things. And no matter what he said to them, all they did was they said, yeah, but those are really volatile and risky. Yeah, but those are really volatile. That's all they kept saying. And they didn't want to hear or learn anything about it. And what I just showed you shows you that although they are volatile, they go higher in the next cycle. And that's something that you won't hear in the mainstream that much. And I'm now showing you why. Okay, so very, very, very important. History doesn't always repeat, guys, but it often rhymes. And that's the point we're at now. So I would suggest following Plan B on YouTube. I would also suggest following Raoul Pal. Raoul Pal is a giant in the crypto industry. And I mean, if you've been following along with him for the past year or two, you're already probably in pretty good shape there. But I go a lot more into detail about stuff, and I'm going to bring together a lot of extra details here. And Alessio Rastani, if you're looking to learn more about charts, and he does go into Bitcoin quite a bit, he's my favorite chart analyst. And he's someone that you might not want to follow if you don't want to look at charts. He really focuses on charts. But those are three people I would suggest that you really, really, really look into. In the next session next week, I'm going to go into crypto meme coins. I'm not going to have time this week, but I'm going to go into meme coins next week. Again, this might look stupid. This might look silly, but I'm going to make a case for it. I'm going to explain it to you. I own some, I've made money on them, and I'm going to explain to you why these might actually perform better than a lot of cryptos, but I'm going to also warn you of how they work and the risks of them. Okay, we're going into meme coin season, they call it. Altcoin season is coming up as well. So all altcoins are basically anything that's not Bitcoin. And then there's another category of meme coins, which are basically useless. They don't do anything, and people just love them and keep buying them and posting them, kind of like the GameStop thing from 2021. Go watch the movie Dumb Money. Okay, I just watched the movie Dumb Money again yesterday. Go watch it, take a look at it. Seth Rogen's in that movie. It's on Amazon Prime. Go watch Dumb Money as part of your homework. It's a good movie, and it really should be part of your homework to do that because that will explain what these meme coins can potentially do, just like GameStop. Okay, GameStop went up to $400 or $500 from $10 or $20 for the same reason why the meme coins are going up, because a bunch of often young people just diamond hands, they held and they squeezed the price higher and it crashed later. Okay, that's something I'm going to go over with you next week. I'm obviously going to warn everyone either not to invest in those or definitely not to over invest in those because they're risky, but I want to explain how they work and why they work. Okay, here's another tool here, guys. Again, I'm going to go over this a lot more next week. This is called Banter Bubbles. Go ahead on Google. You could type in Banter Bubbles. And when you go here, the size of the bubble shows you which ones went up the most. So you see that APE and FTM went up the most, and then SPX and these ones went up second most, and the little green ones went up, but not that much. Same with the red ones. Okay, so the size shows you which ones went up the most, and the color shows you if they went up or down, and you can see the percentages. This is an hourly return. Now I'm going to click today. Now it shows you the biggest gainers for today. This ape coin, which is probably a meme coin that does nothing, it went up 65% today. Okay. I own a coin that went up like 40 or 50% the other day. And this here, right here, I own SPX. Okay. I actually posted to my Invest Like Mike Facebook group that I added to my position on this one a few days ago. I'm currently up 47% on my position on this coin. Okay. Now let's go to the week. Okay, let's go to the week here. Let's go to the month. Okay, look at that. In 1 month, look at that SPX bubble. Okay, this is called SPX 6900. This has gone up 1880%, okay, in the past month. There's no other crypto that's gone up this much. Nero is the other one that went up quite a bit, but nothing compared. I know someone that put like 100 grand into this a month ago when it opened, and I'm pretty sure he made millions of dollars off of that. And I think there's a couple of people in this group that know who that is, but I won't mention it. And this is something I've jumped onto because of strategy and charts. And I probably follow 30 or 40 very trusted people, and I take in hours upon hours of research every week, and I'm going to summarize it for you guys here. Everyone's busy. This is my full-time thing. This is all I do. I'm going to study the charts for hours per week. I'm going to listen to hours and hours of content from, high-level economists, from very well-known crypto influencers, Raoul Pal, the stock to flow model of Plan B. And when something big changes or happens, they're going to share it with you. Okay. And that's what we're here for. So here's what we're going to do now. Okay. We're getting towards the last 10 minutes here, and I'm going to go into the charts. Okay. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you. Okay. So I'm going to go to SPX 6900 just to show you this one. Okay. And I'm going to go to a daily chart. Okay. So this is a chart here. I'm going to get rid of my drawings there. This just has gone straight up, and a lot of these meme coins, essentially, after they launch, they go straight up for a while, and then they come down a lot, and then they go straight up again when the rest of them go again. And there's kind of a pattern here. So let's get the ruler out here. If you click the ruler on the side here and you click on the low point and you drag it to the high point, you'll see here, this one is showing it went up about 600%. It might be because I'm on a line chart as opposed to a candlestick chart, folks, but you can see here on the Banter Bubbles that it's gone up 1,888%, okay? And, you could see on the chart what it's doing. I'm actually going to switch it to the candle view just for my own purposes here. Okay, I'm going to go from the bottom here to the top. Okay, so it's showing a little over 1,000. Now look over here. So just as we're talking, it's gone up another 7%. Yesterday it went up 37%. I'm up over 40% on this one. All I did was when it dropped in value here, guys, I just bought more right there. Okay, I ended up buying more right there, and I knew what was coming. I knew that we have a pre-election rally and a post-election rally, and now it's going higher. Now, don't go and put all your money into this. Okay, like do what you want, but this is super speculative. This could drop 50% or something for like don't go crazy on this. I'm just showing you this. And in future sessions, I'm going to explain how I handle the meme coins. Okay. Here's another one I own, MOG. This one went up 10% just, today or yesterday. And just since September, this one's gone up 222%. Okay. I'm going to show you one that's gone up like crazy. This is Caspa. Okay. This is called Caspa. I'm going to go here. Okay. So when I zoom out here, okay, from the bottom to the top, Okay. This one went up 1,670%. There's a lot, I mean, there's one that went up 121,000%. There's all these different little coins that have done that. Okay. Another one that has been my top pick since last year, I recommended it in my group publicly to my friends, to everyone. It went up 4% earlier today. It's up another 1.5% here. It is running up hard. This is my top pick. And I think Bitcoin and Solana, in my opinion, are the safest coins, and they're not meme coins. They have function, and even Silicon Valley is very big on this one. You know, this one has gone up over 2,500% since it bottomed out back in 2023. Okay. So, you know, this is something I was promoting since October very heavily to the group right there in October. I was very, very bullish on cryptos because Larry Fink announced he was making an ETF, and he happens to own or be part of the biggest hedge fund on planet Earth. This is the BlackRock rally. Okay, that's what BlackRock did to the market and the other 11 companies that opened an ETF. Okay, just from what I recommended it around 20 bucks. Okay, that rally went up 1,100%. I have friends that still own that, and they thank me all the time, and I love it. Like, you know, I love it. And you know, again, the subscription here is 150 bucks a month. If you end up making money on this, you know, I'm not going to tell you to buy it. You do what you want to do. But if you make money on it, you don't owe me anything. Maybe a referral, you know, you can refer it to your friends or family or whatever you want. But, you know, if you end up making a lot of money on this, the money is yours. If you lose money, don't blame me. Again, this is what I'm doing. You do what you want. But, you know, I want to guide people along. This is fun for me. I can make a little extra money on it. I'm already doing all the research, and I'm going to post a lot more here than I do in my regular group. I'm going to show you buys and sells and how I did on my trades. I'm going to show you targets for when I might get out of a coin. Okay, I'm going to show you something else here. Okay, this is pretty high level. So I just want to make sure that I show this to you just as a little teaser. But this is higher level stuff. Okay, so this is a coin called Turbo. Um, we had a breakout earlier this year, and that means that it went above a major resistance or an all-time high. Look how much it went up here after that breakout. Okay, it went up astronomically. It went up about 500% in 20 days. Okay. Um, Look what just happened. Like, I mean, again, don't go buy this just because I'm, you know, showing you this, but we just did another breakout where we went above the all-time high right now. Okay. I bought more turbo the other day, and it went up 33% for me the other day as well. Um, and you know, this is something I want to point out to you. Now I want to show you something else here. Okay. Now this is going to go a little bit over your head, but I'm just doing it on purpose here. Okay. So this is something called Fibonacci tool. You can go study Fibonacci, the great Italian philosopher, and the guy that loved numbers. So again, you're not going to understand this if you're not familiar with it, but I'm going to do a whole session on this in the future. Okay. So I'm using the Bitcoin Fibonacci, and what I'm doing is this. Okay. Uh, each time that it rallies and crashes, okay, every time we have a rally and a crash, we can use those metrics on the chart using the Fibonacci tool to help predict how much it might go up on the next one. Okay, that's all it is you use the previous rally and the previous crash to predict the next rally. Okay, well, here's the previous rally here that I'm going to show you. Let me do this again. Sorry, folks. Trading view just froze up on me there. Okay, there's Turbo. Okay, I also love the name Turbo. So look here. Okay, so here's the rally we had earlier this year. Here's the crash that came afterwards. Okay, the Fibonacci uses the bottom and the top and the bottom, and it uses a statistical model based on the Italian gentleman, Mr. Fibonacci, Leonardo Fibonacci, and we use it to predict where it might go. Okay. So what happened, right? It actually went to the very top of this range. Like this is the max top end of that colored spectrum. And you could see that we blew through the roof and then came back down. Okay. And if I were to do a Fibonacci, on the previous rallies, it would show the same thing. We went through all the colored ranges and we came back down, right? We went through all the colored ranges and we came back down. And that's what it's doing right here. Okay, so we used the previous rally and the previous drop to see that, hey, this is going to go up in this range somewhere. Now, you might be saying, how do we know which color it's going to stop at? These meme coins go towards that purple color a lot. Okay. So if someone's getting in, when it's breaking out, or maybe you're being real strategic and you played it before and you get in just, arbitrarily when it's low. I have a friend that's been in turbo since way back here. I think he turned 2 or 3 grand into 20 or 30 grand. And, this is real stuff. This is not, this is real money. And so what I want to show you here is that we're going into another one. So I'm going to quickly do this. Okay. Again, don't go buy turbo just because I'm showing you this. So I'm going to do a Fibonacci extension on the most recent one. Okay. So here's the bottom to the top to the bottom. Okay. And if I hover over this one line here, an arrow comes up and I use my mouse wheel to scroll down. And now it reveals the colored range that was off your screen. Okay. Again, don't hold me to this. I'm not promising you anything. Okay. But it's showing that, this could easily go up towards 50 cents. Okay. Remember last time we broke above this colored range? This could go up towards 50 cents. I've been telling people probably 40 cents or something like that, 40 or 50 cents. Now, I'm not going to promise you that's coming. And again, do your own research and everything. But if it does that, that could be a 300% or more gain. Okay. You can see in the blue there, it says 353%. And, this is something I want to show you guys because there's a lot of different charts I've tried this on. Here's a completely different crypto called STX. And I'm doing this because I showed this to my friends the other day, and I'm going to do a Fibonacci based extension here. Okay. Look where it went, guys. It went into the purple zone. Okay. It went into that pink and purple zone. Okay. So it seems like this pink zone here gets hit a lot, and some of them go into the purple zone or higher. And I'm using these tools to track these things so that we can try to use those to our advantage. Okay. Now let's get away from that and go right to the Bitcoin chart here. I just want to show you something else here. Again, history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. So what do we see here right now leading up to this election? Okay. Uh, leading up to this election, we see something that I posted about a lot, and this is called a pennant pattern. It's a triangular shaped pattern that we're bouncing in between like a pinball, and it comes out leading up to the election. And it's doing that right now as we speak. And why is that important? Well, I think it's very important because I'll show you what happened. Here's the all-time high, by the way. I'm going to label a red line for the all-time high. Leading up to the election, or definitely right after the election, is when we make a new all-time high typically. Why am I saying that? Let's go back here. Let's go back in history. I'm dragging my chart back. If you look at the bottom, you'll see I'm bringing you back in time to 2020 and 2021. Okay. So where is this US election? Okay. There's a US election right here. And you'll see here that right around the time of the election, you'll see that we had a pennant pattern in place. Now it looks small, but if I get rid of that rally for you, you see the nice big juicy pennant pattern in August, September, October of 2020. And it's bouncing around like a pinball in this range. And where does it exit? Right here around the middle of October. And now I'm going to label the previous all-time high back in 2020. And look at this. October 21st, which is tomorrow, we went up 7 or 8% and made a new all-time high before the election. When was the election? This big green candle is right after the election. And we went up 10% in a single day after the election of 2020. Okay. We are right here. Okay. We are right here or right here. We're somewhere in this range right there, right now. Okay. And again, I'm going to bring you back to the current time pattern recognition. Just want to make sure that you see what I'm explaining to you. There we are. We're in the same darn position again. And I mean, if you think about it, we got a 7% candle and a 10% candle. If we get a 7% candle in this week, it's going to bring us above the all-time high. If we get a 10% candle after the election, it might bring us to $80,000 or $90,000. Okay. So again, don't buy it just because I'm saying this. I'm telling you how I'm thinking. I'm sharing this stuff all with you. And again, we're going to do another one next week where I'm going to dive much deeper into some of these topics. Okay. You're going to get to experience that with me here. Again, we're going to go over this catalyst list. I'm going to go much deeper into explaining these, and I'm going to keep you along the way with me. Remember, you don't sign up now, folks. If you want to sign up, wait, go to my website November 1st, click on the services tab, and you'll be able to sign up there. It's only 150 bucks a month. I'm going to do a wallet where I'm investing 2 or 3% of the money on behalf of the group and charities. I'm going to show you all my trades, my winners, my losers, everything. And this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm skilled at. I'm very good at probability. Mathematics has always been my thing. It's helped me in real estate. It's helped me in a whole bunch of different avenues. And last time in 2020, I was able to guide through a bunch of students and friends through this, and they made their own decisions and they ended up making a lot of money. I want to point out something else, and this isn't bragging. It's just I'm proud of this. I sold all of my assets in early 2022 publicly. And I told people when I sold Bitcoin at $56,000. I sold Ethereum at $3,600. These things crashed without me. Now, it's not because I'm so smart. It's not because I'm just really good at combining the available information together and understanding the basics of economics at a high level. And I just allowed it to crash without me, and I guided people through the rally beforehand, so that we could all partake in it. Okay, so I want to do the same thing with you guys again. This is why I'm doing it. Literally, I'm going to put my full-time attention to this, and all of the hours per week and all of the chart skills and the analysis skills that I have that you probably don't have. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to consume all this content and share it with you. And I'm going to stay with you along the entire way here together. Okay. Again, 1 hour a week. We're going to do probably a Monday morning quarterback video. I'm going to make tutorial videos that I'm going to just randomly post just for the members of this. How do you open a crypto wallet? How do you make a trade? How do you buy cryptos in the stock market? I didn't even touch that yet. Next week, I'm going to show you all the different ways you can buy cryptos in the stock market, including the BlackRock ETF and many other vehicles. This took me years to put together. I got into Bitcoin in 2017. I have almost 8 years experience in cryptos, 18 years in charts and technical analysis, and I want you guys along here for the ride. Okay. I'm going to open it up. If you do want to unmute, hopefully it's one at a time. I'll stick around and answer questions for you. I don't mind at all. If anyone has a question, you can feel free to type it in the chat, or you can unmute and just talk to me if you'd like. Anyone? Any commentary on the session? Any questions? Feel free to unmute.
Hey guys, I just want to say I did the charting courses with Mike way back in 2021, and I made some really decent coin on doing that. I paid for all my sessions probably for like 10 years in 2021, just following what he said. So, and then last year, we did a big trip to Cabo and we all met up in Cabo in October. And Mike's going, yeah, you really want to buy Solana. It's like $30, $40 at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And then it was like, it must have been like November, December. And I went, and he goes, did you buy Solana? It's like 80, $90 now. And I said, oh God, I totally forgot. So so I ended up buying it. And then it went up to like over 200 US. Everyone else who I told about it bought it and then sold it at the peak, and then I just kept owning it. So I still own it today, and now it's rallying up. But yeah, I mean, I've more than doubled my money on that, and just kind of put it off to one side. So the information is really good, and it's backed up by the charting knowledge. And I can say that because I went through a year of the charting training, and then we all met up in May this year in Cabo and did a charting course that was just specifically on charting and understanding how the charts went. I think Victoria was on that, and Mike Gillespie was on that course too. So yeah, I mean, it's important to understand why things are doing things, the patterns that are involved, but not just that, not just going here's a crypto, go for it. I recommend this one, and then you go buy it with no knowledge of why it's doing it, and when to sell or when to leave. Or so I think if using Mike's charting knowledge and understanding will give you a better idea of when to buy, but not just that, when to sell to and exit. So I really like the idea of doing it weekly rather than just doing like a course for like 3 months and then have at her, see you later, and let me know how you're doing 10 years from now. Like I really like that. And I only stopped doing the charting courses in 2021 because I had to get a credit line. I had to give all my stocks to social wealth management to get a credit line to do some other stuff. But I'm back on track now with the crypto, so I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good ride, and it looks like we're exactly at the right time to be doing this. Like, I'm excited. Anyway, that's enough for me.
Yeah, and you know what? I appreciate that Andrew shared that because he was a student with me years ago in the first cycle, and he's done really well because he followed the advice I gave basically. He held really good stocks and he rebought more of them strategically and opportunistically. He didn't listen to me on Solana at 20 bucks or 30 bucks, but I get it. Like you need knowledge, you need to see it working sometimes, and that's the fear of missing out rally that I'm talking about. And luckily, I got him to experience the fear of missing out early. And I think him and other people started getting in at 60 bucks instead of 20 or 30 bucks, and maybe more at 90 bucks. I have a friend that bought it 105 bucks, and I was telling him to buy it since 20. He eventually bought it at 105. I think Solana is $170 right now. It went up to over $200 earlier this year. And I think that someone like Andrew, who took training with me and did my course with me earlier this year in beautiful Cabo, Mexico, he understands the charts. Like in April and May, Andrew, when I gave you guys the course, I literally said to you guys, I go, I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but leading up to the election, we're going to see a bunch of patterns that tell us we're bottoming out and ready to go higher. And I didn't go over those today, but there are upside down head and shoulders and pennant patterns all over the place. I've been posting them for weeks, and I predicted them coming in April and May. Again, not because I'm some smartest guy in the world. That's just how it works. And we have all the bottoming patterns on the chart. We have the catalysts to take us up from the bottom. And I bet that Andrew and all these folks that have trained with me and taken my actual training course, they understand why I'm so bullish. They see the patterns, they see what's coming, and they also saw that my April prediction of the bottoming patterns came true. That's part of what you're going to experience in this weekly stuff here for the crypto boot camp, but it's going to be hyper focused on cryptos. My course, I am doing a course in November. I have one or two people already signed up. That is more money, but if you want to get a full view of the stock market and market cycles and um, showing you exactly what a candlestick chart is, how I draw, how I analyze, draw with me, let me work with you, and going through all of that in great detail. If that's something you're interested in, you can approach me for the course. That's not for everyone. And for someone that says, oh my God, that's so stressful, I hate charts, I hate math, this is a good tool, the Crypto Bootcamp. I'm going to just summarize everything for everyone and make it an easy to understand way for you. Okay. Thanks for that, Andrew. Anyone else have a question or a comment? Feel free. I don't mind sticking around if you have any questions or comments there. Anyone else? Don't be shy. Even if you want to type in, I see a lot of great comments here. People have really been enjoying this session here. A lot of pattern recognition, a lot of this stuff here. Like I said, anyone else, if you have any questions, otherwise we'll wrap this one up. I'm gonna post this recording to the group so anyone can see it. If you have any friends or family that might be interested in this, refer them to the next one next week. And we're gonna do some new info next week, and we're gonna get right into it. Right now, we're gonna just kind of wrap this one up here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back next week again, 9 p.m. guys, and we're gonna do another crypto boot camp. And this one was a great one. The recording will be posted. Go watch Dumb Money. Go check out Plan B. Go check out Raul Pal. Go check out Alessio Rastani. And we'll see you here again next week on the next crypto boot camp. Thanks, guys. Take care.